You can do that.
Yep.
Okay, Linda,
Okay, do you want to put the agenda up for me, please, Bob?
the agenda. Where's the agenda?
I've only sent you 3 copies.
I don't have the agenda. I've got your slides
Well, the agenda is at the very beginning.
of what?
Oh, yes, you do. Go ahead.
What's that?
Oh, no, the agenda was at the very beginning. I didn't, but okay, I'll speak to it then. You can put the slides up then. Go ahead.
Okay, I will do
Just
that.
put the first slide up. For those of you who were with us at the RLI, we're doing leadership tonight. You're going to be sick of hearing my voice and sick of seeing me. Everybody except for Mr. Phelan, who knows I'm always here for him. But anyways, I put a little happy face on for happy Thanksgiving. Oh boy, am I happy Valentine's Day for everybody. So I'll try to make it a little different tonight than our leadership. But when I looked at, these are Beth's slides. When I looked at her slides, she'd taken my slides. So I changed things a little around a little bit. So tonight we're going to talk about, we're going to have Valerie talks about her year as president. And of course, Valerie is our past Rotary International Vice President. Then we're going to talk again about the qualities of a good leader, leadership styles, leaderships in Rotary meetings, and then John Burns is going to end our evening. So Bob, could you do the Valerie video, please? Oh, there it is.
No, what's that? The
You just
Valerie video. I can try and do that.
I tried to look at it today, but I didn't see it on the website.
Everybody see?
Oh, there she is.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to push the play button.
Good.
Hello, presidents-elect, assistant governors, and leaders of District 7070. And thank you, District Governor-elect John and District Trainer Beth for the kind invitation to be with you today. And hello to many friends who are joining this president-elect session. Congratulations to each of you as you prepare to lead your clubs in 4.5 months from today. Now, this may seem like a far-off date, but the planning you begin today will ensure the success of tomorrow. I thought I would speak tonight on my personal experience as a club president and rising to the challenge of leadership. You represent a diverse group, but the one thing we all have in common is that on July 1st, we all begin a new Rotary year, and each of you will be the president of your club. Being president of a Rotary Club is the best job ever. I joined Rotary in April of 2005. And like many, I didn't know what Rotary was until I was asked to join. By August of that year, the president-elect was looking for members to serve on the board. And he approached me, and my immediate reaction was, no way, I want to be a member. I'm not interested in leadership. You remember what it was like to be a new member. The acronyms we use in Rotary take at least 5 years to learn, not to mention being able to understand and appreciate the power of the Rotary Foundation, our history in the eradication of polio, or what a district is. I certainly didn't know what a zone was or a district or which one we were part of. But after a few more taps on the shoulder, I said yes. And before I knew it, I was the president of the Rotary Club of Whitby in 2008-2009, 3 years after I joined Rotary. Our theme that year was Make Dreams Real. And actually, this is one of the first times I've reflected back on that theme in a long time. Never in my wildest imagination would I be able to look forward 15 years from that first leadership role as club president to the role as a director on the board of Rotary International for the years 2020 to 2022 and appointed vice president by then President Shekhar Mehta. That's the beauty of Rotary and the beauty of opportunities available to each of us. In my professional career, as was mentioned in my introduction, I spent 24 years as a Tim Horton franchisee, and my background before that was in corporate finance. I ran a business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I have learned more about leadership in Rotary than I ever did in business. It's very different to lead volunteers and keep them engaged than it is when there's a monetary paycheck at the end of the work week. Just like in our own business, our Rotary team comes in all shapes and sizes. There are those who put their hand up to chair every committee and lead every service project. And there are those members that, until they're asked, never saw themselves as leaders. And I think this is the category that I was in. So I thought I would share a few tips, completely from my learned experience. And I wasn't kidding when I said being the president of your club will be the best job ever. Because if I could be the president of the Rotary Club of Whitby again, my current self would love to help out my old self. So first of all, my first piece of advice, have goals, but be flexible. You know, the last 3 years have shown us that our world can change overnight. The pandemic has certainly accelerated a new way of thinking around setting goals. Many of our preset goals were adjusted, refocused, and directed to keeping us safe and providing for those in need in our own communities. Flexible goal setting is about adjustment. It's about finding our own strategies to cope and succeed when circumstances in our lives change. And I think it's true even in a non-pandemic world as we're coming out of it. Making smaller goals or breaking down our larger goals into smaller ones that we can realistically achieve gives us direction and a sense of accomplishment and confidence when we achieve them. And although not as planned or envisioned, I know that your pandemic club presidents and district leaders will tell you that they had an incredible year. If being flexible wasn't in their leadership toolbox, it certainly is now. Rotary International President Jennifer Jones speaks about the comfort and care of our members. And incoming President Gordon McAnally has put an emphasis on mental health and creating hope in the world. These all speak to our own care, our own mental health as leaders. Let's emphasize how to be kind, how to listen, and how to reflect on what's important in our lives and in the lives of others. Be mindful of where you are, of where your members are, and what's happening all around us. Goals are important, but you, your family, and our members come first. So have goals, but be flexible. Second, my favorite personal and leadership quote or mantra: be yourself because everyone else is already taken. There are 7.8 billion people on this planet, but only one of you. So be you. This was a lesson I came to realize the year I was club president. As a fairly new Rotarian, I was nervous. I felt I had to be the expert on subjects and questions. I wasn't used to being in the front of the room, running meetings, thanking speakers, inducting new members, and giving speeches at fundraisers or celebrations. And then I realized you are chosen to be president because of you. So don't change. Be yourself. Have fun. Mess up. Believe me, I do it all the time. Be your true, authentic self and be genuine. Honestly, I remind myself of this every time I'm in doubt. Your voice, your personal perspectives, and life experience brings innovation and alternate thought process and contributions. And a few other points here. Radiate positive energy, because positive energy and passion are infectious. Don't be afraid to throw out big, audacious ideas or new concepts. Be confident. A self-confident leader makes others around them feel significant. And this translates also to our members. Create that safe space where members feel that they can walk through the door and truly be included for who they are. So be yourself, but let others show up as their true authentic self as well. When we each bring our true self and allow others to show up as they are, we are stronger. We learn from each other's perspectives, and we live our core value of diversity. Create that safe space where members are able to say, I belong and I feel valued. My third piece of advice: you will each make a difference in your year as president because you have the support of a team. Don't struggle during your year with skills that don't come naturally and you always put off. Capitalize on what you're good at and empower your team to utilize their skills in the other areas. Now, many of you are leaders already, so you know that one of the most difficult transitions next year will be to shift from doing to leading. But your responsibility will be to lead your club. We're all guilty of trying to accomplish too much. Being club president will be the highlight of your Rotary career. Don't resent it by taking on too much. And it goes back to number one: have goals, but be flexible. And delegate. Trust your team. The last few years have given us a new way of doing Rotary. And so my fourth piece of advice is that I hope you consider some of the positives that we have learned and incorporate them into your year as president. And that you work with your president-elect and members to make it a permanent shift, not just because it's your year. This is the time to ask your members. Ask your members what they want from their Rotary experience. Everyone wants to be heard or asked, and this is the perfect time to do it. I'd like to speak about the blank white paper exercise. Ask your members to design their optimum Rotary experience. Notice I didn't say their optimum Rotary club, rather their optimum Rotary experience. And don't worry about the rules. Don't worry about the governance. We began to speak of new models, new club models years ago. Passport clubs, satellite clubs, e-clubs, clubs with a specific focus. Today in North America, we are inducting new members. We are chartering new innovative club models. And we have put diversity, equity, and inclusion in our everyday conversations with commitment and intention. Remember, a leader is a change maker. So be a change maker. A favorite Rotary book of mine is written by past Rotary International President Cliff Docterman, titled As I Was Saying. Cliff was a very popular past RI president and a wonderful orator with incredible messages. He was a great storyteller, and he has spoken to hundreds of president-elect seminars and assemblies. And I invite you all to Google "If I Could Be President Again," a very popular and humorous speech of Cliff's. I was writing a speech recently, And I went to search out my copy of Cliff's book, as I said, called As I Was Saying. And I opened the cover and I glanced at the table of contents for inspiration. And I found a speech titled Thinking of Our Future. Now, Cliff delivered this speech at the 1993 Melbourne Convention, 30 years ago. And I was curious in 2023 to read what Cliff thought our future looked like in 1993. And in his address, he asked the attendees challenging questions like, are our members more concerned about preserving its past rather than planning for the future? And he asked, what are we doing to make Rotary more attractive to young business and professional leaders? And he also asked, what will happen to clubs that fail to realize that some of the most qualified professional executives in their community are women? 30 years ago. And in 2023, many of us are asking some of the same questions. So be a change maker. A famous quote by our founder, Paul Harris: if Rotary is to realize its proper destiny, it must be evolutionary at times and revolutionary on occasion. This is an exciting time to be Rotary Club president, and you have permission from Paul to be revolutionary. Because we are a bottom-up organization, and change and a change in culture happens with you, the club president, your leadership, and your club members. You have more influence in our organization than does the Rotary International president, the board of directors, or the trustees of the foundation. You are the base of the organizational pyramid, the base that supports, the base of innovation, the base of change. It's your time to lead. And as a leader, it's your time to tap someone on the shoulder, mentor them, include them in your leadership team. You will leave your Rotary Club a little stronger on June 30th, 2024. And I know that District Governor-elect John and the district leadership team of District 7070 is there to support you. Good luck, because I know you are going to be great. You're going to have a fantastic year, and know that you have a team right behind you, cheering you on for a fantastic year. So thank you for having me with you this evening. And if I can be of any assistance in the future, please reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's our Valerie. Isn't she special? We're so lucky to have had Valerie as part of our team for so many years, and she's still part of our team. Of course, she did decide to move a few times, but I think she's down in Oakville now. So
Valerie.
we will certainly enjoy her. So some of you have, we had RLI last week and we did leadership there. So we're going to talk a little bit more about leadership today. And next slide, please, Bob. Oh, we've already been through that one. There we go. So as a leader in Rotary, not one size fits all, as you all know. Some days it'll be wonderful and some days it won't be. I happen to be lucky enough to have been in Melbourne, Australia when Cliff Docterman gave that speech. And he was such a marvelous man. One thing I remember if you ever get to be president again, he said, never miss the opportunity to sit down and be quiet. So sometimes listening is probably one of the greatest leadership skills that you can have. Listen to your team, listen to what other people have to say, their ideas, communicate and support them, and try and have a vision, but it has to be a shared vision. And all of these adjectives that we're going to talk about tonight are, you'll need some of them at one time and some of them at another time. And then there are other times when you won't need them at all. So let's go through some of the adjectives about what good leadership needs. Next slide, please, Bob. This is a survey, and this survey was done, and it said the number one thing that a good leader needs is a shared vision. And then the second item was to lead change, inspiration of people, being honest and ethical, very similar to what we have in our four-way test. You need to set an example, walk the talk, empower people. As Valerie just said, you have a team. You have a lot of people pulling for you and pulling with you. Have them do the jobs. Don't you do everything yourself. You'll have a tendency to want to do it all. Be forward looking, and Valerie mentioned this also. Don't think about the past. I know that the bylaws are there, but you have to be flexible, and you have to link, and you have to look ahead, and be competent. Competent meaning be organized, have your meetings, know what you want to do and where you want to go. So that was a good, I think it was done by Rotary International. Next slide, please, Bob. And these are just other adjectives about leadership excellence. So coaching, development, and feedback, innovation and change, planning and vision. It looks like it's a huge ball of information that you have to be president, but you'll just use each of them at different times. So next slide, please, Bob. So I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership styles, and which I did at the RLI, but I've changed it up a little bit. So if you go to the next slide, please, Bob. So I'm going to spend some time on these different types of leadership styles. And as I said at the beginning, one size does not fit all. And you will use some of these styles at all times during your leadership role as president next year. You will be a participative leader. You want to involve other people, involve them in your decisions, in how your club is run, and how you would like to see the future fold and unfold for your club. Situational is, I think that's probably where most of us are, is we change our leadership style according to situational factors. But then again, you may have, this is one of my most interesting leadership styles, and it's the transactional one. And it works through you know who the boss is. And if the boss is the leader of the club and that's the way she or he operates, then you know that's how things are going to go. And of course, they have the hierarchical structure, and the systems of reward are normally that such as a business. So it would be your cash awards, whether your pay. Transactional leadership works at different times. Coach on a team. You tell your players what you want them to do, where you want them to go. It could be in the military. I think in the military, this transactional leadership is one that works very, very well. You don't want your soldiers to be creative and do different things. You want them to do exactly as they're ordered and exactly as they're told. Large businesses use transactional leadership. The boss is the boss, and your reward is your payment. I don't think that transactional leadership is what you'll need so much as a club leader. We talked about, there's another good one called a servant leader, which is probably where we will spend most of our time in our leadership role. And if you can get a transformational leader that you lead through inspiration, and you have lots of energy and lots of enthusiasm to bring to your club, And I think with what we've gone through these last few years with COVID and meeting on Zoom, and somebody called it the Hollywood Squares. I think that we'll be so happy to see one another. We're having next Friday, we're going to have a Paul Harris night, and the enthusiasm on the team is just overwhelming. It's nice to see people want to get out again. They want to meet one another. So the transformational leadership is a great one also. But as I said, you will use a blend of all styles when you become the leader of your club. In fact, you're probably a leader right now. So next slide, please, Bob. These are more styles, and I think that they are I can put people into categories. I'm having a meeting tomorrow with the leader of our parent company. And I sort of looking forward to it because he was a high-ranking military fellow, very, very autocratic. So the meeting, I know how it's like, be quiet, listen, then follow the rules. Not that I'm great about following rules, but I know this is what he expects to have done. So that's your autocratic transactional leader right there. Laissez-faire. Now I've had a few presidents that I've watched, and they have been laissez-faire. Laissez-faire, sorry. And I think maybe it's a little bit lazy too. But anyways, I think they are lazy. They don't want to get involved. They're great at some things, but they let everybody else take the leading role, and they don't really get themselves involved in the leadership role. And democratic, and I think that's the one that we probably will stay in the most. And what do you think we should do? And of course, again, it's the having your meetings, not a head table, having your meetings in a round circle. Everybody is equal. Everybody has an opportunity to talk. You can do a little bit of, the making sure that everybody, your A's and your B's, your C's, your D's, you seek out the best of everybody. Bob, the next slide, please. So this was just a little asking you, really, when you think about your club president, which one would you say was the best? And what would be the differences between a strong and a weak Rotary leader? Anybody want to put their hand up? Bob, if you would watch to see whose hand goes up, that would be great. Let's talk about strong leadership. So what did you notice in strong leadership? Especially those who did the RLI the other night, and I'm looking right at you. What was a strong leader? What characteristics did they have? Steve?
Genuine.
Genuine. That wasn't mentioned.
Yeah.
Honest, genuine. Anybody else?
Being open to change.
Open to change. Perfect.
Not taking yourself too seriously.
That's for sure. And I think sometimes when you are the president of a club, it is pretty serious business, and you do take yourself seriously.
Yeah.
Recognize. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry, Monica.
Recognize. There seems to be an echo.
Oh, I hear an echo.
Recognize.
I'm sure it was a good one.
Monica, you're on twice, so that's why there's an echo.
I'm on what? Am I twice?
You're on twice. You're logged in twice.
How did I do that?
I'm so lucky to get logged in once. Good for you, Monica. Doesn't matter. Anyways, how about a weak leadership? And I'm sure those of us who've been in around and in business and wherever we go, we see leadership that could be a little bit better. Jeremy, how about you? Can't see Jeremy.
I'm sorry. I think being a good listener.
That's for a good one. Yeah. And listeners is really important. Yeah. And how about a weak leadership?
Oh, weak
Got it.
leadership. I'm sorry, Linda.
I know you were looking for your hat.
No. I think sign of a weak leader is someone who is indecisive.
Indecisive. Right. Anybody else?
Disengaged.
A poor
Disengaged.
communicator.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, a poor communicator.
Poor. Absolutely. You could take the good things and just switch them around. Right. Joyce, did you want to talk? Did
Yeah, I said disengaged, as in they don't show up to meetings, they don't involve themselves in activities and whatnot.
Right, right. All those things. So we all know what the good and the bad and the ugly are. So we just have to try and make sure that we have all the great things with us. So anybody else? I didn't see. Bob, did you see anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Okay.
I'm
And
just
the
gonna try one more time. Can you hear?
okay,
I wanted to say, recognize when a good leader recognizes when they're needed and recognizes when people are looking for help. And especially during COVID, I can say 2 of our presidents really stood up and really took charge because we were so weird about the whole thing. We just didn't know what to do. So there, I think you can see me now. There we are. So
and we can hear you.
great. I got rid of one of the things. Anyway, but what I'm saying is recognize what people need and then act upon it. And that makes a great leader. Where
That's right.
if you ignore them and sort of just pretend that you didn't hear, that's a weak leader.
Absolutely. So we know the differences.
Danielle?
So-
Danielle? Sorry, just something that Monica just said, just triggered something in me. I think that also that a strong leader is someone who recognizes the value in every single club member, and a weak leader is someone who doesn't take the time to learn about what might be perceived as like one of the weaker members. And that weaker member might, or perceived weaker member might just be someone who's shy, or someone who's never been part of an organization, or someone who's never, been asked to be in a leadership position. And a good leader, I think, recognizes the strengths in every member and tries to play off them.
Perfect. And one thing about Rotary is we all get a chance to be a leader. I think it's probably one of the most, when a young person comes in, either from Rotaract and Interact into Rotaract and into Rotary, they have an opportunity. And Rotary allows these opportunities to happen. I've seen so many of our Rotaractors go on to become great leaders in their own organizations. And it's because you have an opportunity to practice. But here we are next year going to be presidents. And I think that I'll be practicing probably for the whole year. And I'll look forward to every moment of it. And as Valerie said, I remember her year as president. I remember when Valerie was a district governor also. And she's done an amazing job. And the Whitby Club was better for her, for sure. So next slide, please, Bob. There we go. Now, that's all I'm going to say about leadership. I mean, if you want the long version, we do it from RLI, and it's usually about an hour, and it's more participative, and we delve into the leadership qualities a lot more. But next year, here are some of the things that you will have to do. These are the meetings that you're going to have your board of directors meetings, your club meetings, your club committee meetings, and your district, regional, and president's meetings. So these are the ones, the very few that you cannot get out of. So these are the ones that for sure you have to attend. So, and I know that we're all looking forward to it. Next slide, please, Bob. Now, successful meetings. Sometimes we have meetings for the sake of having meetings. So we have to make sure that we're having one because we really need one. And what this is Beth's idea is that you must have your agenda out before the meeting so that everybody can have an opportunity of what they're going to do and what they need to participate in and prepare for the meeting. I know we have a president that's very, very good at this, and she distributes reports in advance. I hope I'll be nearly as good as she is. And I know also that's something that Linda Rainey is after all, those of us who aren't very good at putting our reports in. She gets after us about a week before the district leadership team meetings, and she says, have you got your report in? And she's right on us. So before the meetings, we know that we see the report, we know we're familiar with it, and it makes the meetings go that much faster. And
This
we
really
hope that-
applies, Linda, this really applies to directors' meetings.
is that what she said?
That's what, yeah, not necessarily your club normal meeting.
But what we do it, our club, we do to our club meetings too. We always have an agenda. It's always sent out ahead of time. And we always have the reports from the committees beforehand. So, and of course, start on time, which we didn't do tonight. I'm sorry, and we'll end on time. But the most important thing is to have fun. So that's for a successful meeting. Next slide. I think that's now. This is a sample agenda. What I did is I also found on the internet, and this is these meeting agenda templates, so that if this doesn't suit your what you'd like to do when you set up your meetings, just go into Google, and it's these, and they're free, and you can edit them, but it's just another tool for you when you have your meetings with your club. So this is very simple. The next one, please, Bob. Okay. I know this says the word employee. I said, and the fellow was saying, what if, and I know this sounds kooky, it really says, we communicated, and I was going to say with our Rotarians. So, and the last one is, no one said it was easy to be a follower. It is really, sometimes your most important people are the ones that stand beside you and help you, and they're your followers. So sometimes it's harder just to be a follower. So that's all. I think I'm finished now. Am I correct, Bob? Okay. Good leadership requires thought, planning, preparation. Valerie said a willingness to try something new. I think we talked about being a leader. You have to be brave. And I'm sure that when you are asked to be a president, you go sort of taken aback a little bit, and you say, well, can I do it? Or do I have the time? I'm so busy. Do I really want to do it? But Valerie touched on these things. Don't be bound by the past. And it takes confidence to take risks, and it does. You will gain confidence as you go through the year. Sometimes you will feel like you're walking on a tightrope, but you'll get through it, but we'll all get through it together. So, by the way, this was supposed to be Beth's presentation, and I know she would have done a great job. So, but our heart is with Beth tonight. So thank you very much. I think, John, you're on now. Oh, Monica? Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted one comment. When you talked about good leadership, one of the things I learned, because I was president for 3 years, and my first year, I had only been a member for 2 years. And so I learned when to ask for help, because as strong as I think I am as a personality, there's just so much I couldn't possibly know. So I depended on the previous members, the members who'd been there the longest, not so much to tell me what to do, but to suggest things and ideas that I never would have contemplated. And it helped me get through that first year. It was pretty stressful.
So look for a champion, somebody who can help you, and a good mentor, a good coach. So they're always just the best if you can get them. When I was president 32 years ago, and here I am back again. So, but I remember and I was the only woman in the club. I remember the gentlemen that stayed with me and helped me. A lot of them didn't want me there. But guess what? I'm still there. And but I had made mistakes. I made mistakes. And in fact, one time I missed a date for when you have to elect your next board. And those are the days of the typewriter, not a computer. And I typed all these letters and I sent them out, but I was 2 days late. And we had a judge on the who was in our club. And he said, meetings, we can't have it. It's finished. It's awful. So I went to talk to one of the fellows who was a lawyer. His name was John McGill. I said, John, what should I do? He said, Linda, you have to start the way you mean to end. Do it all over again, because they'll never let you live it down. So I did it. And Stan Long, it was, his name was, became one of my best supporters, my best friends. And I certainly enjoyed learning from these gentlemen. So we're going to make mistakes. We are. Thank you, Monica, very much for your insight. Thank you. But 3 years, I'm wondering.
This is my fourth year coming up.
Oh, God,
I had
you're
to
still
take,
here.
I had to take 2.5 years, 3 years off, because I was just exhausted. And they all said at the same time, Mon, would you like a year off? And I said, I can. And they said, yes, you can. So in the end, I got 2 years off. So I'm starting again in July.
Well, I think we'll all learn from you, Monica. So, and you know what we're going to learn? To say no. Oh. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, John, take it away.
Yeah, where to begin? I think one thing, we don't hand out awards at the end of the year to the president who didn't make a mistake. So don't be thinking that if I don't make any mistakes, I'll get the award. I guarantee you'll make mistakes. I did. We all did. Yeah. It's what shapes you as you go forward. You learn from your mistakes, as you have done your whole life. What advice could I give you? I think planning and preparation are the most important things that you need to do. If you don't plan and you don't prepare, it doesn't matter what you tackle, you're going to go into it and you'll get surprises. And surprises knock you off course. If you plan and prepare well, you come over as confident. And that means the people will recognize that. They'll be behind you. If you're not, they won't. So plan and prepare well. It'll get you further than anything else will. What else? When I started in leadership in Rotary, I had retired, but I had been a business leader. And I very quickly realized you cannot go from being a business leader using the same systems and basis when you're dealing with volunteers. As Valerie said, there's no paycheck for them at the end of the day. You have to inspire them in a totally different way. So it is a learning curve. I had to learn as well. Most of you are in business positions, but leading in Rotary is different from leading in business. Nothing wrong with the ethics, nothing wrong with the skills. You just have to deal differently with the people. You can't fire them. That's the first thing. It doesn't matter how bad they are, you cannot fire them. The other thing I think presidents do when they come in at the beginning, they tend to try to micromanage. They do that because it feels safer. They feel that if they organize and do everything, it'll be okay. But you know what that leads to? Burnout. The last thing you want is burnout. You've got a team with you. If you've got a strong team, then you should be a happy person because the load is shared. I would certainly encourage you to select a strong team if you haven't already. Because the way to run it is with teamwork. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. We all need help at some time. And by the way, there's lots of us here that can help you. There's lots of people in district that can help you. And you've got your board that can help you. As Valerie Wafer said, you need help, reach out to me if you want. I'm saying the same thing. Reach out to me or to any of the people in the district leadership team. That's what we're here for. We know what you're going through. We know that you have anxieties. We had them as well. So beyond that, all I can do is to wish you luck in your journey. And I'll be with you. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to have fun. Definitely going to have fun. So back to you, Linda.
Thank you very much. I think I'd like Linda Rainey, if she wouldn't mind telling us the next date and the next topic for our leadership training. Do you know that, Linda?
I know the next date.
Oh, that's half of it.
I know that it's the 28th of February, so 2 weeks from now. You already have your link, so please don't get rid of it because it's good for the next 3 sessions. I don't know what the topic is. It's going to be a big surprise. And when I do find out, I'll let you know.
Linda, the subject is actually dealing with conflict.
Awesome.
So, yeah, so Gail Udo is going to join us. Gail is a Rotarian in the Ottawa area, and that's Gail's profession. And we will all run into conflict at some point, and Gail's knowledge and advice is really handy to have in your back pocket.
You know, it's like I actually said to the AGs when we were going through the training, at the same time as you were doing pets. When I joined Rotary, I thought, there's never any problems in Rotary. There's never any conflict in Rotary. The longer I'm in Rotary, I realize, yes, there is. And you need to know how to deal with it. So look forward to the next session because you will learn how to deal with it. It's not something that anybody wants to deal with, but you need to know. You got it because some of you will be faced with it. Anyway, sorry, Linda.
There we go.
L-I, Linda.
Gail truly is a wonderful speaker, and I hope that that you'll enjoy her and walk away with a lot of good ideas. We all sit here and think, no, I'm not going to have to deal with it, but you likely will. Just know that you've got buckets of people around you to support you. You know, John was talking about your executive board being so supportive and the people at the district level. I'm looking at all kinds of people right on my screen right now who are going to become good friends for you and fabulous supporters, and know that they're going through the same sorts of decision making. So look around, find a few friends. There's some really, really quality ones in there that you haven't even worked with yet. There you go. Linda
I
with
think the regional
Well, thank you very
president,
much, everybody, for, unless John has something more to say. Has anybody, anything that, oh, you do, he said,
regional presidents meetings.
yes. Okay, go ahead, John.
Regional presidents meetings are an ideal time and source to be able to exchange information and even share problems, you know, because we're not reinventing the wheel. Someone has already done it. But if you never ask, you'll never find out. And sharing it with the regional presidents group, it's a smaller group. You know, you're not dealing with the president's meeting for the district where there's 57 people. You're sitting there with 10 people who you know fairly well, and they all live close to you. So that's a good time to share problems and successes. So keep that in mind. Back to you again, Linda.
Well, I see there's some comments in the chat room, and Markham Sunrise, Tina wanted to know about, did we discuss Chicago? Do you want to say something about Chicago, John?
The only thing I got recently from the travel agent is some people want to go for 2 days. I'm not sure how we can juggle the itinerary, in as much as there are things built in the itinerary that I don't know how we'd meet up with these people who are going earlier or staying later, for that matter. But I'm still waiting for them to tell me how many people have actually registered and paid. There is a limit to how many can go, and I think that limit is 25. So if you haven't already registered and you want to go, I would do it soon.
So Tina's asking the comment, where do we register?
Okay, at Pets, we actually handed out an actual double-sided form, which tells you where to register, and I believe it had to be scanned and emailed. Am I right, Linda?
Yes, and I believe that it Crystal at Paragon Travel.
Yeah.
You should register with her. She's a Rotarian. She's in Larry's club. So maybe we can send that out again, Linda with an I.
Mm-hmm.
I know I picked up one. You gave us one at the training at the in Oshawa.
So I think we should send that out to all of the president-elects.
Yeah.
There's also another question
Joyce?
about Terry sending something. Joyce, where's Joyce?
I'm here.
Okay, Joyce.
Yeah,
you
I was
asked a
just,
question.
I was just asking, and I got a response back from Bob. And he gave me Terry's email because no one from our club received anything regarding the bylaws. And yet when I was at Pets in Oshawa, he said all the treasurers or whatever had received everything. So, but I will, email Terry and find out what's going on.
Yep. Great.
Yeah, Bob, who was supposed to collate all that information? Was it Dave Andrews?
Sorry, John, what was that?
All of the presenters were supposed to send their presentations.
Yes.
I believe to Dave Andrews.
Yes.
No,
It was
there were-
then going to be posted on the district website.
And they are there.
Joseph, sorry.
Those,
I-
those that have sent them in they're there.
So I've sent a link with my Monday message to the link there right after our pets training in person. So anybody who wants to see the presentation, they were there.
Oh,
I can-
God,
I
we
can-
had to look at your presentation, Joseph.
Uh,
Sorry.
So, so
So let me find the link and I'll put it in the chat.
So Linda Rainey and I, there's a message from Corey here about sending out the package. So that I'm assuming has to do with the Chicago trip.
Yes,
So we can, between us, we'll make sure it gets out, Linda.
yes, absolutely. Yep,
Thank you.
ASAP.
Yeah, because
Well,
there's only, I think there's only 9 days left before they close it.
And there's a message here from Danielle that she had sent it in but hadn't heard nothing back. That's something we should talk to the travel agent about, that confirming that they've got the information.
Okay, I'll contact them in the morning.
Good. Are there any other questions?
That's everything in the chat.
Okay, good. Linda, with an I?
Linda with an I, yes. I just wanted to mention to all of the presidents-elect, every week, Joseph sends out a message, a Monday message, and it has a whole collection of different activities that are going on across the district from different clubs. It's a fabulous way to reach out beyond your own club to find out what's going on. If you're not receiving that as a president elect or as a member of your club, you should be. And when you're president, I certainly hope that you'll share all of the information that comes from John. Joseph works really, really hard not to flood you with all kinds of emails, and that's one way to do it. So when you see it coming across, enjoy it, share it. Lots of good things to do.
Yeah, make, as Linda says, make sure it gets to your members.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion to president-elects? One of the things that was suggested to me my first year was to just call out to my neighborhood Rotary clubs, to their different clubs, and I would meet them for lunch at their meeting or breakfast at their breakfast meeting or whatever, dinner meeting. And it was a fabulous way of seeing how things are run in other clubs, but also so that they could interact with us. And we found ways to match fundraising, things like that. So it became like a close-knit friendship instead of just one club all by itself. So that was a great thing. I miss that part the most since COVID. I miss all the interaction, the love.
There's so much to learn from the people that are sitting right beside you on screen.
I know it's not for this group, but there's still an awful lot of clubs not represented here tonight.
Where it's Valentine's Day too.
And vacation time.
So-
Well, I just
Yeah.
like to thank everybody that gave their sweetie a hug and give themselves a hug for coming tonight. It's just a pleasure to meet everybody, and it was just such a wonderful day that we had in Oshawa, and I look forward to the next one. And conflict resolution, goodness knows, I'm pretty good at that. Not resolution, I'm good at conflict, very good at it. I'm Irish, what can I say? So, thank you, everybody. If there isn't anything else.
Just one point
I'll-
quickly to Monica.
Yes.
Monica,
Oh,
there is
forgot
a
about
press.
you.
Oh, if
There's
you're
a-
gonna write it down, I'll be happy to tell you. I'm a member of North York, Rotary Club of North York. Proud member, proud club, very small, but very active.
Monica, please watch out for the regional presidents meeting. It is held every month or every 2 months. So the
Mhm.
clubs in your area are there. And I think John, he's been the coach, the AG coach this year, and they've arranged them every month or every 2 months. They're having these meetings
Every 2 months.
every 2 months.
Okay, this is a residential, sorry, regional presidential meetings?
Yeah,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. I don't remember having these things, but again, I was running to everything, so I don't even remember what they all were called. But I just remember in restaurants, we were everywhere. It was so much.
We really only started pushing that about 2 years ago. I mean, it did exist prior to that, but there was no drive to it. But now we've started pushing it. We see the benefits. Some regions are fabulous and others are just beginning to get the hang of it. But your AG should be sending out invitations to these meetings. And
And-
there's no reason why the president-elects can't actually join them.
That's correct. And for you president-elects, one of the regions is, we have 5 regions. We have the East, we have Durham, downtown, West, and the North. And the North, you are president-elects who will be hosting the walk in September.
Right.
That's Region 3.
I hope
Yes.
there's some planning starting with that.
Well, if
I
I could
think-
just end the evening with our Toronto Club's statement. Thank you for being my friend. I'm not singing, I would sing, but it says, I want to be your friend. So thank you for being my friend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Bye-bye. Happy Valentine's
Thank
Day.
you.
Take care.
Well done, Linda.